Raka. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram, which you totally should. You can also follow this podcast on Instagram at the GlamLife Podcast. And I'm sure you know my far, far superior and more famous guest. It's Miss Teryn Darling of GirlzInk out in Las Vegas. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. Are you guys able to see the eclipse going on today?
No, we are not in the path, not even a little bit. But the path of the total eclipse, they're showing it on the news,
Yeah.
and it is in Maine, where I'm
Oh, so you should
from.
have just gone home.
I know. It's in a place called Holton, Maine, which is it's in northern Maine, probably maybe an hour and a half north of where I grew up, which was Portland. So yeah, I got some friends and family driving to Holton to see the total eclipse. So I'm a little jealous. And Victoria, Holton, Maine, they're predicting the best place in the United States to actually see the total eclipse today, because there's no cloud cover. Whereas like Texas, they've got
Nice.
like 75% cloud cover and
Yeah.
rain. And yeah, so Holton, Maine is the place to be today.
The place to be. I drove up to Arkansas this weekend because I'm down in Louisiana and we should have something like 90% viewing of it, but
Oh,
we're cloudy today. We're rainy and cloudy. So we drove up to Arkansas and we were camping up there, but my older son got a head injury, so we came home.
oh, oh, he did?
Little Cain and Abel situation. My younger son decided to throw a big rock off of a vista at the same time my older son decided to walk in front of him. So
Oh,
we had
don't
to
you miss
get,
being a
yeah,
kid?
just kids being kids. But so they're at school and we're just going to miss it, I guess. But I saw it on live in another place. I don't know where it was. I was just scrolling on TikTok and I saw on live people cheering. They were cheering for the moon there. And they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
yay, you're doing amazing. Like the moon can't
yeah.
hear you.
I know. I think it's, people that have seen it, like I've never seen it, and it's not going to happen again for another 20 years.
More.
Yeah, yeah, but they say that the people that have seen it, they describe it as like that's like the instance you really realize how small we are, and how massive and magical and amazing, like the earth and the moon and the sun, everything outside of us really is. Like those 2, 3, 4 minutes, it's just,
Yeah.
it really moves people. I guess the animals all react.
Yeah.
It's really quite magical and mystical. So 20 years, me and Kat were talking about it this morning. I'm like, man, 20 years, mean, I don't know, but I would love to see it before I die. I really would.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe the next 20 years. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
meantime, we have some magical stuff going on in the world of permanent makeup.
yeah, we
So,
do.
over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, everyone has been talking about pigments, pigment quality, understanding CI numbers, all of the REACH compliance. People really want to understand their pigment line, and they're getting into this big debate of organics versus inorganics. And do we want it to last longer? Do we want it to fade out more softly? There's a lot of conversation going
Yeah.
around with pigments. You recently redid your color theory webinar. And
Yes, yes, I did. It's launching Wednesday. It's launching
how
Wednesday.
exciting. So yours
Yeah.
was one of the first truly comprehensive color theory webinars where you went into what makes up a pigment and what all goes into it and how it fades out and how it lives in the skin. What's different about the new one?
The new what new one?
Your new like revamped version.
Color theory. Well, it's a living course, right?
Right.
Because everything in the industry is evolving and changing. Technology's changing. Trends are changing. Techniques are changing. The artists themselves and the industry is changing. So if you don't refresh a course and your course gets flat, old, stale, and dated, and I'm not flat, old, steel, and dated. I'm not going to ever let myself get like that. So you can't let your course get like that, especially a course like this, color theory, because it's one of the key components um, in mastering your results, your healed in color results for your clients. That is a key component. And every PMU artist must learn it. They must put in the time and the hours, and the dedication that it takes. And this is not a subject that you learn in a day, a week, a month, and not
Right.
even a year, Victoria. This is a deep, layered topic that does have its complexities, but I think I've done a really good job at teaching it in a way that allows the artist to navigate through those complexities and really understand it on an artist execution level, which is really important. Some courses they're too complex. I've really learned that the artists, yeah, they want to really understand the difference between organics and inorganics. They want CI numbers. The artist is getting smarter because the industry is getting smarter.
Right.
Um, but if you go too deep and get too scientific, you're talking chemist level, then you can lose them. You can lose the artist. It's
Yeah.
too hard to wrap your mind around. So, I wanted to make it very science backed, but also in a manner that any artist, no matter who you are, you can really wrap your brain around it and learn it. So it really addresses when what skin type that an organic is going to be really good on, and what skin type that an organic, or any, not even an organic, but any pigment that contains black carbon may not be ideal for, right? Just like there's skin types that some techniques might not be most ideal for, there's skin types that some needles might not be most ideal for, there's skin types that pigments may not be most ideal for. And so I really got into that, giving examples of faces where, pigments, because we were, hybrids, are becoming really popular now. And I think a lot of people think hybrids are new, but they're not. I mean, some of those shades in the aqua line are hybrids. So,
Yeah.
Darlene at LI Pigments has been making hybrids for almost 30 years. She's always taken advantage of
Wow.
both the inorganic and the organic colorants to create balance and harmony and very specific shades. Some of the shades in the aqua line she couldn't have achieved if she didn't combine inorganic and organic. Aqua and velvet is more inorganic dominant, but some of those shades certainly have organics in them. So some of those shades are definitely hybrid shades. So hybrids are not new. They're just it's just the industry's getting smarter. Artists want more information. So all this information that's always been available, all these technologies that have always been out there, and in pigments, now the industry just wants it, which is great. It's great,
Yeah.
because, and I love it. I love it.
It's
We
good for
should
the
know.
consumer too, because an
It's
informed artist
yes.
is one with better long lasting results, better healed results.
Yeah, yeah. I've always been, I remember, look, the debate between organics and inorganics is not new. It's been around ever since the day I got my license. I was an artist that I was taught to never use one needle, never use one technique, never use one pigment, to be versatile and take advantage of everything out there that's going to get me to my healed result the quickest, the most efficiently, and bring me the best result. So as a young artist, I was using both inorganics, hybrids, and organics. I never really liked inorganics for my lip work. They were just a little too muted and a little
Yeah.
too dull. I was
Tough to get
always
in that skin too.
yeah, some inorganics are,
Yeah.
and some inorganics are not. Like aqua's not hard to get into the skin because of the quality of colorants LI uses, but they're muted and they're dull, which is what an inorganic is. And the lips, we all know, shed so much color
Yeah.
and intensity during the healing process that I think you need something more intense. more vibrant to withstand all that color loss during the healing process. So I was always an organic person. And years ago, maybe 15, 16 years ago, the gal running the SBCP back then at that time, I mean, she really came down on me hard and gave me a ration of shit because I was using organics.
Oh,
That's because the industry was so inorganic. They were just inorganic. And if you use an organic, you were a rebel. You were using body tattoo inks and you were a rebel. And I got a lot of shit, Victoria, a lot of shit. I can't even tell you how much shit I got. And because I used organics and I was proud of it. I was proud of my lip work. I was proud of the healed results. I was proud that I work for my clients and no one else. So if
yeah.
I'm getting really great results and I'm using a safe, high quality pigment, back off. Leave me alone. Don't give me no
I was
shit.
about to ask, like, why does anyone care? Why does anyone care what you're
Back
doing
then
with
they
your
did
clients?
care. Back then they did care because they weren't informed. And these were women that were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
So they came into the industry during the 80s, right? And weren't progressive. Okay, I came into the industry 22 years ago, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not stale, I'm not flat, I'm not old fashioned. I am super progressive. I am evolving as the industry evolves, and I want to because this is where my passion lies. This is it, the industry and everything about it, the technologies, the uh, the movements, the pigments, the artists themselves, the trends, they all excite me. I may not be into all of it, or all of it may not be my cup of tea or my
But you're
personal
fired up.
choices. Yeah, but I love it. They all excite me. They all spark my interest. I want to learn about them all. And over my dead body, am I going to get stale, old fashioned, unrelevant?
Oh,
And I'm just not going to. Um, but back then, they did. They did not keep up and evolve and stay progressive with the industry. And I think that's why so many of them tried to govern the industry, police the industry when microblading
gatekeeping.
came around. Do you know when the organics hit the scene? I think that's why a lot of them, not all, of course. I'm just talking about some of them.
A select
Uh,
few.
yeah, became bitter and like, they because they didn't understand. It's kind of like our grandmothers, our grandparents. They don't understand social media or why we're on our phones or why we do our banking. Like my dad will look at me and like he gives me shit for doing my banking on my phone, on my mobile phone. Like, he just thinks I'm crazy that anybody would do their banking on their mobile phone. You know, he's 80.
Yeah,
He's supposed to feel that way, I guess. He doesn't
you are. You
understand
are.
texting.
I
Yeah.
think as you get older, the technology kind of outpaces you and trends kind of outpace you, but it's supposed to be that way. I think it's
Yeah,
supposed to be that way.
it
You
is
almost
supposed to
phase
be that
yourself
way.
out of things.
Yeah, yeah. It is supposed to be that way, but I do feel if you want to stay a relevant part of this industry, if you want to stay a leader, if you want to,
Yeah, if you're not ready to
if I
leave the
want to be
industry,
able to
why would
hang
you
out
phase
with,
yourself out?
yeah, I mean, if I want to be able to hang out with Victoria Glam and get invited to do YouTube lives, Instagram lives, and be on your podcast, if I want to be able to hang out with, you know, Shay Daniel and, all these young artists, I have to stay relevant.
Wait,
Or,
are you coming to PMU World?
well, I don't know. When is that?
August 5th through the 9th. Shay and I are the red carpet hosts.
Oh, you are?
We
Oh,
are.
I'm so happy. Is it this month or next month?
August.
No, I'm in Maine. I'm in Maine and Boston for a whole month. That's why I couldn't go.
Oh,
I know. I
everyone's
know.
going. We're going to be
Is
there.
Kate
My
Schofield
Moore's going to
going? I
be
see her
there.
on here. I see Katie on here.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole crew, everybody.
Yeah, see Katie, she'd have
Jovi
nothing to do with me.
Stosky.
Yeah, if I was old and irrelevant, she'd have nothing to do with me. A
Katie
lot of
is.
my friends in PMU are younger artists because I'm so relevant. and progressive and evolve, because a lot of my, people that came into it at the same time I am, either they're stepping back,
Yeah.
or they're not evolved, or things like that. So and thank God for younger artists, and all the generations in this industry.
And
I like the.
honestly, conversely, thank God for artists who have been around and have experience and aren't leaving. You're not just packing up and saying, okay, I'm out of here. And we need your valuable experience. Like people like Katie and I, who are mid level in our careers, need to have someone that we can go to and say, what do we do? Like the kids
Yeah.
are getting crazy. What do we do?
Yeah, well, I think I've told like Shay Daniel this, lots of the younger artists, your generation. It's like, thank God for people like you, Victoria, because you all in that group, in that generation, because you are the ones that will take over and
Yeah.
be the leaders of the industry and take it into, the 2030s, for Pete's sake. I probably won't be in the industry, in the 2030s. Hopefully, but,
I think you'll still
realistically.
be relevant though, because it's almost 2025. That's only 5 years.
Oh,
And
that's only
you,
5 years. Okay, 2040s then.
yeah.
Yeah, it's only 5 years.
So I'd say
What
you
am I
can't drop a
thinking?
product and leave, Taryn.
No, no, but the 2040s, think about it. I probably really won't be, in the industry, at that point, maybe on some level as a mentor, but um, your role in the industry, changes, I think, every decade. I think every
Yeah.
artist has their decade, right? I've been kind of lucky where I'm going into my second decade, but every artist has that decade, and their role in the industry, if they want to play a role in the industry, changes. So it's you all that are going to take over and lead the industry, and for this industry to uh, maintain respect and
Yeah.
be the industry that I know it can be. It's going to take really strong leaders that are honest, authentic, and have all good intention without hidden agendas. It's going to take people that have the courage to teach what needs to be taught, and to you know and just lead. um
At some
you
point,
know
integrity has to meet a wall where it can't be purchased. At
a
some
hundred
point.
percent a
Otherwise, we're going
hundred
to keep
percent
getting, 2-day courses with people who took a class 3 months ago, and the industry will just continue to devolve, which I think is kind of how we got into the spot that we're in now. But
Yes,
as long as we
yes,
keep putting out quality courses and holding the line there, we keep putting out quality education after the sale. Yeah, you took a class with me, but you need I have 2 refreshers this month alone of people who took the class a year ago or more and say, hey, I got a new job. I'm getting back into it. Can I come train with you? There's no charge for that. Come, because you're a product of my house. So I don't want you going out doing shitty work because you didn't want to pay me more money. Come and do a 1-day refresher. Keep the line of communication open. Like, you have to put integrity of work and integrity of your work as an educator above a dollar. And I think that's kind of
yeah.
where we went wrong. But people have that issue with products too. There's a whole
No,
lot of people who haven't thought one iota about what's in the products. They just slapped their name on it and started selling it, which is part of why you took your sweet time coming out with your own line. You wanted to make sure it was perfect.
Yes, yes. I want to make sure it was perfect, and I was doing the color theory, redoing the color theory course too, and that was a year and a half of my life, and that's why I haven't been as active on my own, Facebook board, and I feel like I've stepped back a little bit this last year and a half, and haven't been as present as I would have liked to have been, because this color theory course was a big undertaking to write it and make sure it was accurate and relevant, and it's non-pigment brand bias. It was very important. That was a very conscious decision of mine to make, 'cause I didn't want it's such a good course, Victoria, and the information is such good information. I didn't want anybody to overlook it, and because I think maybe I'm pushing LI, or trying to
Yeah.
make a sale in the course. So it is non-pigment brand specific. It's just non-brand specific. So in the science section, I do reference LI here and there when I need to make a point and I need to make an analogy, because LI is the only line that I know. But in the skin section, depth, saturation, modify, and 80% of the course, I don't even reference LI. I mean, this is universal information. So it was a big undertaking. It felt really burdensome at time, if I'm to be honest, getting this ready. But it's ready. It's relaunching on Wednesday, which I'm excited. So at the same time, I took on, it was time for me to come out with my own pigments. I've helped so many other
Finally.
I know. I know. I'm like, if I don't do it now, it's like I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I've helped so many other artists with their own lines, and help get Aqua. We revamped Aqua. We've spent, a couple years revamping Aqua, getting it a little bit thinner, getting it more concentrated, so it worked, much better with the single needle and low sat, when artists that like that low saturation. We increased the concentration across the board. We got it a little bit thinner. We got brand new labels and a whole new look launching in just a few weeks. So that was and we had to get it EU compliant. So there's
Right.
been a lot going on for me in the last 3 years that really took a lot of time. So yes, in there, I carved out time to do my own pigment line. So I've got eyeliner, brows, and lips coming, and the eyeliner pigments just happen to kind of come together first, meet my standard and exactly what I wanted out of these colors first. So they're launching first. I believe my lip colors will launch second, and that will probably be in 2 or 3 months. And then my brows are coming. I got 3 brow colors approved and done, but I got 2 colors in that brow line that I'm still adjusting and playing with, so they're not quite ready, but yeah.
More exciting. Okay, so what can you tell us to expect with your eyeliner line?
Okay, do you want me to show it to you? I'm gonna show it to
Yes.
you. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna see if I can hold them all up at the same time. Okay, can you see them?
I love it. I love that it's OMG brand. I like the
Yeah,
foiling on the letters. Ooh.
yeah, yeah. So to get
Super
that
black.
trademark, yeah, so this is super black. So to get the OMG trademark, that was a year, almost 2 years in the making. That was really difficult, but we finally got the trademark. It's done, it's legit, it's registered. So OMG, I thought that was really super fun. And I say it all the time, oh my God, oh my God. So it just felt like the perfect name. And I love the color. So super black is my inorganic, and it is super duper black. It's got a thin consistency, but not too thin. I know people don't like it watery. I don't like it watery. We made it so if you use finger caps, it's not going to spill out, but it's definitely thin enough to where it will flow with any needle. Really great. Let me see. What can I tell you about
So it's
Super Black?
inorganic, you said?
It's all inorganic. So what we did was I played, there's hundreds of black carbons, there's
Sure.
hundreds of black inorganics, right? And within those inorganics, we all know that inorganics have a larger particle size
Right.
than organics. Not by like massive amounts, like some people think, you know, when you're talking colored pigments, like the colored organics, like the reds, the blues, the greens, the yellows, and you're talking the colored inorganics, they're pretty comparable in particle size.
Oh,
They're
really?
both, yes, 100%. And that's where there's a misconception. They both fall in the medium range size when it comes to particle size. Within that medium range, yeah, there's variances, but they're pretty comparable. They're not big differences in particle size when it comes to the colored pigments. When it comes to black, like inorganic black and non-organic black, like carbon black, there is a massive difference
Oh,
because carbon black, as you know,
so small.
yeah, super, super small. And then inorganic black has a medium particle size. So there is a difference. But within the organic family, Some of those inorganic blacks, the particle size is a little smaller. Some of them, it's a little bit bigger. So we played and experienced with multiple different inorganic blacks. The other thing people may not know when it comes to inorganic blacks, there's only one CI number that represents all those hundreds of inorganic blacks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's not a different CI number for each or inorganic black. It's like inorganic black has one CI number, but there's all kinds of different um, uh, inorganic colorants that can be purchased from multiple different raw pigment manufacturers. So same with carbon black, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of carbon blacks. Some are blue based. We don't want those. Some are gray, ashy gray based. And then some have a truer black base. And there's, high quality, low quality. So with all those hundreds and hundreds of carbon blacks, one CI number represents all those hundreds of carbon blacks.
So how do you tell the difference?
You have to really rely and trust your manufacturer that they are sourcing and using, doing, research and development. It really boils down to that research and development on the manufacturer side and trusting that they are first sourcing really good raw colorants from raw pigment manufacturers. And that they're using, super high quality, high light fastness, that, LI, we only use carbon blacks that have that true black based, carbon blacks that have a blue base don't belong in an eyebrow formula. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But there's not different CI numbers to represent carbon blacks with a bluer base, carbon blacks with an ashier gray base, or carbon blacks that have a truer black base. There's not different CI numbers to represent all the different carbon blacks and the different levels of quality. There's just not. There's one CI number. So this is where really trusting your manufacturer comes into play. So although LI has, sources and uses, really high quality inorganic blacks and carbon blacks, I wanted to make something really, really, really different. And I wanted to experience with carbon and inorganic blacks outside of what they normally use and formulate with. And so that's what we did. It was expensive ordering, different blacks. Some perform, some don't. And then you play with different carriers. The carrier is what, takes your colorant.
What it all sits in.
Yeah, what it all sits in. So we played with different carriers. And, some carriers, I couldn't get the pigment to really implant, and then some carriers, implant pretty well. And then finally, Blanca made me, this one sample, and it's just like, oh my God, it's just, and this is my inorganic, just implant, super quick, super easy. And that's what I wanted, because I think a lot of artists want to get off carbon because they're afraid of migration.
Yeah.
But yet they are afraid of it. They're afraid that inorganics are too hard to implant, or they don't heal as black. And that can be true in some cases, but that's not necessarily true across the board, not by all means. There are inorganic black pigments, super black to be one, that can heal just as black as a carbon. It implants very quickly, very efficiently. And I think artists that like carbon, but want to get off it, or at least have an inorganic choice for clients that are high risk for migration, I think they're going to transition really, really well to super black. And I think they're going to absolutely love it. So that was my goal, is to create a black that was an easy transition to an inorganic for artists that love that quick and ease of a carbon. So and I really do believe we did that with super black.
How many colors are in your range?
3. So I got 3. So I got
Just 3.
super black. Yeah, 3. So I got super black, which is the super black inorganic. We got black brownie, which was made with it's a brownish black. and the ratio of same carrier, so it implants really quick. And I did use a different inorganic, wanted like a softer one, if you will, and of
Yeah,
course
because
there's
I
some.
definitely get clients who say, "Do we have to do black?" Because I usually use like a dark brown. So I think
Yeah,
that's pretty important.
yeah, and on some people it will probably heal like a soft brownish black, and on other skin types it may actually heal to like a deep dark brown. Um, that's just going to kind of depend on the skin level and how the artist implants it, like what kind of needle they use, and if they're going more superficial, their saturation levels, because all that stuff affects, the tone of a pigment, and how a pigment heals and ages. So and I'm seeing a new trend of artists using these really medium to light browns for eyeliners, and they're in for some not so good results.
Tell me
There,
what's going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah, that's going to be a really super trend that will be done quick. I spent years trying to use browns, and browns just don't last. They just don't last. And for whatever reason, the chemist at LI can't really explain it other than the skin in each area in which we work is very different, because, you're talking different layers, different amounts of blood vessels, blood flow, vascular system, oil gland, it's just so different each area. And the lid skin, it just seems to absorb. um I don't know if it's too brown, then it just doesn't last. And we've seen a lot of browns turn orange and red on in the lash area, on the eyelid area. So I had to get my percentages right. I know that happens if it's too brown, so I didn't want it to be too brown, but I wanted it brown enough. So I did play with, black versus brown, what should that ratio be? And I think I got the perfect ratio where it's brown or soft enough, but it's gonna last for the client
Yeah.
and it's not gonna turn. Yeah, yeah, I see these browns, Victoria, and I look at them like, oh God, they're gonna learn the same lesson we all learned 10 years ago.
It's
It's just
interesting
not.
how history just keeps repeating itself.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just, and some people, that have been in the industry and we've learned these lessons, they get all pissy. And I'm like, why? Let them learn it. So they have to. I was that artist. I had to go learn things myself. It's just like our parents. Our parents can tell us, don't do this, don't do that,
Yeah.
do this. And one day you're going to thank me. And, I remember back then going, no, I'm not, Dad. I'm not going to thank you,
You're ruining
it's,
my life.
you're ruining my life. And I didn't understand. We didn't believe them. Do you know? And we snuck out at night, and we did everything our parents didn't told us not to do. And some of that stuff we regretted. Do you know?
And part of the lesson was learning that people who have already done it might actually have some good advice.
Well, ain't that the darn truth? Yes, that is the truth. For sure. But it doesn't, not that I just don't roll that way. It doesn't upset me. I don't get all bitter. I don't get all cranky when I'm
That
responding
has
to
been a
them.
hallmark of the GirlzInk brand for sure, is not asking why, but asking why not and figuring it out. That's something I
Yeah.
think that's really made kept you relevant, not made you relevant, but kept you relevant over the last decade and a half, is people saying, well, what's Teryn think about it? And the answer is never to gatekeep. The answer is always, let's see what happens. Or in my experience, this is what's happened. So let's see if that happens again.
Yeah, Victoria, I don't yeah, why shame people, right? I mean, why shame people? Why I just don't really understand that. It's just I think if you love this industry and you want to and you truly mean what you say, and that is, or you are who you say you are. You are a mentor. You are an educator, right?
Yeah.
And you really care about this industry and you care about artists, then you are not going to goddamn shame anybody. You are not
Right.
going to make people feel like shit or come at them and embarrass them when they ask a question on the Facebook board. I get it. Some of these questions are basic and they should are if they if they're taking color theory courses, good ones, if they're investing, maybe these are some things they should already know. I get that, but I still think, look, really good teachers in our junior highs and high schools. I mean, how many times do they get a question, the same question? How many times do they have to explain things over and over to students? That's their job. That's their
Yeah.
job. And as a parent, you don't want teachers like embarrassing your child. I mean, I don't have kids, but you do. You don't want students like embarrassing your kid or making your kid feel stupid because they're asking the same question over and over,
At
or
least
they're
they're
asking.
asking. At least they want to know.
Yeah, yeah, at least they're asking, right? And so yeah, I don't really get why trainers, educators, and people that are supposed to be mentors like do that.
Because
Do
they're
you
not in
know?
it to be a trainer, a mentor, and an educator. They're in it because they think they're going to make more money doing that than doing services.
Right, right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think, some of the best trainers and mentors out there are people that even though they get to a certain level, they don't stop the services. They still see clients. Do
Yeah,
you know?
I say that so often. I say if you don't do the thing that you're telling me you can teach me to do, you can't teach me anything. Because your
Right.
education is from 10 years ago. It's not relevant.
Exactly, exactly. People get shocked that I still see clients, but I do. I see clients every Friday. My Friday is packed with clients. But I don't want to stop. It's like I still enjoy needle to flesh. I still enjoy maneuvering that needle across the skin. I still enjoy every aspect of the procedures that I do. And it keeps me connected with the art, like with the artists, with you and all the artists, everybody that
Yeah, your boots on the
um
ground.
100%. Yeah, it just makes you
Hey,
really
Taryn,
authentic. Yeah, what?
what was the last class you took? Continuing education.
The last Carla sculpted
Yeah,
from yeah, I took her lip color theory course, man. It was so good. It
it
was
was
so good.
mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah, I love
I'm
Carla.
going
She's a
to
badass.
she is. She's one of my best girl pals.
Yeah,
Um, I'm going to Shara Ink Boutique Houston, not this weekend, but next weekend for
yeah,
continuing education areola. And Houston's just, a couple hours from me. So
yeah.
it's more like a girls' weekend. So Danielle was just there this weekend, and it literally looked like just a slumber party. It looked like a
Oh,
fun time. I'm always looking for like, okay, this year what classes am I taking? Not just what conferences am I going to speak at, but also what classes am I taking this year? Because you have to keep your skill set sharp. Like you said, there's always something new, and if you want to stay relevant, you can't just use the same tactics for 20 years.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
very interesting that the people who are always saying forward motion, keep learning, why not? Let's figure it out. Let's see, or I can give you a
Yeah,
cautionary tale. I've
my
been there before.
no, 100%.
Always,
My
always
next
taking a new
class,
class.
well, my next class is in October with I love the Scalp Sisters, Carrie and Jess. They're
Yeah.
over in the UK. And I've gotten really quite close with them, but I just respect them so much. I think they are some of the best SMP artists out there today. And they really they do everything, but I love their work, and I love how they really are hyper focused on women, SMP for women, like thinning hair.
Yeah.
Like my mom has thinning hair. A lot of women have thinning hair or
And
little
it's
thinning.
such a blow to your pride as a woman. Like for men, it sucks to lose your hair. It sucks to go bald or to be thinning. But they could also just shave it and now they're just a bald guy. But
Yeah,
ladies don't have that, and hair is so important to your identity for the majority of your life for most women.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really that's a
Yeah,
tough one.
yeah. No, so I'm excited. They'll be at my studio in October doing their class, and so I am definitely going to take that. Last time they were here, I wasn't able to take their class, so I'm not going to miss it this time.
Where are they
So,
teaching in October?
oh my God, I don't have the dates right on me, but I can text them to you.
Where is it? What city?
Las Vegas, the GirlzInk
Oh, in
studio.
Vegas. Oh,
Sorry,
they're at
yeah.
your studio.
Yeah, they're at my studio. So I know that their class sold out last year. They were here at my studio last year, but I had so much going on. I couldn't sit in on the class. But it sold out. and just the response from the students. It was just so fantastic. And I did get to hang out with them after class. And since then we've been, talking and just getting to know each other. And they're just lovely ladies, man, talented, lovely ladies. And so that's my next class. For
That's so
sure. I
exciting.
did SMP back in the day, and I used to do, men. But back then it wasn't, I did do some heads, total heads, due to loss of hair throughout. But back then I did a lot of, the scars, like the half-inch scars
Oh,
across
yeah.
that were across the donor site that was across the back of the guy's head. I did a lot of those. And then I don't know, I kind of just stopped doing it. And I don't know, I have this new interest in doing SMP for women. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to do the full heads, but I want to do women. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really interested in it. And so I want to learn it. I want to learn it. I want to learn it really, really well. I could probably go fudge it and do pretty well, but why do that when I can learn from the best and, you know, execute at my best? So
I love that.
I know.
Okay, well, your new liner line comes out when?
I think we start the pre-launch this week, and we're doing pre-orders. And so, in the first run, there is a limited supply. So, I'm excited about that. So they can, follow GirlzInk or email us, reach out to us. I think this week we're kind of blasting it all over like Instagram and Facebook, with the first week of the initial official launch and then them going on pre-order. I do have one more color that I wanted to talk about in the
What
line,
is
if
it?
that's okay. Can you
Yeah.
see it?
Black
Black,
Fusion.
Black Fusion. So Black Fusion is my hybrid. And so this is the pigment that really took me a the longest to formulate. So it is a blend of inorganic and black carbon. And getting those percentages right, like how much black carbon could I have in here versus inorganic to, because with a hybrid, right? With a hybrid, what I was going for with Black Fusion was both inorganics and organics have their advantages and disadvantages, right?
Sure.
So with a hybrid, I think if you do it right, you do it correctly, you can increase the advantages of each and decrease the disadvantages of each. And that's what I wanted to do with Black Fusion. I wanted it to implant super quick, have that carbon, carry that inorganic on its back and fly into that skin. And I wanted the inorganic to give training wheels, if you will, to carbon, a little stabilize carbon a little bit. So it wasn't such a high risk of migration. So figuring out the balance, the percentage of how much carbon versus inorganic was really, really hard. It was really hard. But I finally did it. I won't reveal my percentages that I'm going to keep close to my chest because that was a lot of testing, and it's a real, yeah. And so I'm not going to give the percentages, but
Don't
it's
worry, guys. I'll give her some margaritas later and I'll find out for you.
yeah. I don't even think my team knows the percentages, just in case, because because we give a lot of information at GirlzInk. We're pretty
Yeah, you
transparent.
do.
I know, and I didn't want them given the percentage. Well,
It's
it was
proprietary information. You spent a
it's
lot of money and a
proprietary
lot of
information.
hours figuring out that ratio.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And so it's really fantastic. So I'm really super stoked about
I'm
Black
excited to
Fusion.
try them. You guys
Mm.
be jealous. Mine are in the mail.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are in the mail.
I'm gonna
Yes.
have to do a
Yeah.
model call because I definitely want to use these and implant on someone for sure.
Well, I hope you do, and I can't wait to see how you
I'm
like
gonna go
them.
ahead and do a product review on my YouTube channel as well. When I get them in, I'll swatch them and show like what each color looks like, and I'll link to the GirlzInk store.
Okay, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I layer them. I mean, layering. My eyeliner course, my high saturation eyeliner course launches uh in about 3 weeks. And
Oh,
so, yeah, which I'm super stoked about. So, I get inundated with DMs and emails and messages. How do you get high color retention? Um, so I finally did a course on that. So that's launching, and I'm working on the free course with this, how to layer them, because I layer a lot. I think layering blacks is a really great technique to get to a really great
saturation.
healing. Yeah, great saturation, great tone, great color. So yeah, there you
How
go.
exciting. Well, thank you so much for making some time on this, the scariest day of the year, to come and talk to me about the moon and pigment lines and color theory. I'm
Is it
really
the
excited.
scariest? It's the
Huh?
scariest day of the year. Is that what some people are calling it?
No, they were posting in like Dallas on the highway system alert boards, like where they usually post Amber Alert or road closure. They were like,
Oh,
portions
oh,
of the highway will be closed today. Please don't pull over on the highway and stare at the sun.
oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
Somebody posted in our local Facebook group, like, "Are you guys sending your kids to school tomorrow?" Yes. What? Like, what?
I know, I know. I think some schools closed. This is what I heard on the news. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what I heard.
Our school didn't
I don't
close. I
know.
have to go get my kids, but they
Uh,
sent home permission slips, and they got the little glasses so they could go outside and look at the sun.
oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
couldn't see anything. There was too many clouds, but I did get to see my new, probably favorite eyeliner colors. So I'm really excited
Yes.
for those to come in. I am going to tag you whenever I review them just so that you could see it. If you want to repurpose it, always feel free.
All
But
right.
if
I
I don't
appreciate that.
like them, I won't post anything. I'll just email you.
Okay.
You
Well,
guys,
if you
fun
don't like
fact
them,
about
you better
Teryn, she
call
does
me
not
and tell me
text.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, I said I'd email you. Teryn does not text. She does not want to DM back and forth. She's an Eve. She's my pen pal. We email each other.
Yeah, we are email. We email like this. We get deep in our emails.
I love it.
I know. I know. Me too. Hey, thank you for having me on. Honest to God, really. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you invite me on and your podcast, which I do watch and is doing great. I'm so proud of you that you leaped out there and you got guests coming on now, and it
Thanks.
looks like
Yeah,
you're
all
having a
because of you.
blast with it.
I am. I
So
actually got a new lens, so you'll be seeing better quality footage and everything coming up just soon.
excellent. I love it. I love it.
I'm just
So
trying to
good
be
for you.
Teryn, man. All right, Teryn. I'll see you soon. I'll email you.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to
Bye.
you later. Bye.